Okay, hi, good afternoon. I hope you all had a very nice lunch. And we are going to talk about very simple things. I'm not going to get into the depth of cybersecurity, but I would like to ask few questions before getting started. So, how many of you are aware of certain things related to cybersecurity? So some people know, they are aware of it, which is nice. Um, how many of you are aware of malware? Majority of you. There should be. You should know these things. Okay, so we will just discuss about simple things, and we are not going to get into the complex part. So before that, a small introduction about myself. So I am a security research lead at QuickHeal, and I'm a Google developer expert on web technologies. Apart from that, I have been speaker at different conferences as well, which is related to cybersecurity based conferences. And I have a YouTube channel, Cryptoware, where I talk about analyzing malicious samples. So moving ahead, what is AI powered malware? So here there are two things that we are talking about. One is AI and one is malware. So when a malware is being run or created by AI, in whichever way it is possible, basically it is getting influenced by an AI. Doesn't necessarily mean that it is getting influenced, but a lot of times you can actually create. Sometimes you can take help of the AI to enhance your malware. I'm not suggesting doing that, but these are certain things that happen. Even the recent malware attacks, they are also such that they are either created by AI or they are created in such a way that the AI itself is not able to identify that it is a malware. So the thing goes both the ways, and we have examples of such things as well. So let's get to the definition, like malware using artificial intelligence to enhance the capabilities. Of course, we want the malware to be good enough that it infects the system and we are not able to protect our systems as a result. And that is why we are talking about AI using or enhancing the malware. Threat actors can take advantage of AI. So it's not just us, we are who are trying to protect the system or the organizations. Even AI can use these things, AI can be used by the threat actors to actually create a complete attack chain, create a big exploit, create a new vulnerability, and these things have happened. AI is able to do, is capable of doing such things now, and threat actors are actually using that. Again, we have seen such examples like deep fakes, automated code generation. These are certain things that keep happening and they will keep happen more. So attackers can actually use Gemini, ChatGPT to enhance their attack methods. These are certain things that people, the threat actors, are actually doing for research purposes. You can actually try. You cannot directly ask the ChatGPT or Gemini that please give me the code of a malware or ransomware. It will not. So you will have to manipulate it into doing that. And we'll discuss about that as well. So the evolution from the traditional malware to AI enhancements. So as you can see, the traditional malware used to be virus, worms and trojans. So initially, if you go back to old days, the basic malware, virus, worm, they would be like replicating themselves. If it is a virus, it will keep on replicating itself and it will not let you do your work. Right. For virus, there is some sort of human intervention which is required. For worms, that is also not required. Trojans is also, if you're using torrent, if you're downloading anything from torrent, you may think of like you're downloading a genuine application or a movie, but actually there is some kind of malware which is disguised as that good application. Then slightly advanced part comes to polymorphic. We'll not get into the technical short, polymorphic malwares are the ones who can change their behavior based on the environment. So it's not as simple. So if it identifies itself to be in an environment where there could be a possibility of some AVs, it will try to change its code. So humans are capable of creating such kind of malware, such polymorphic malware. So just imagine if AI is capable of doing or creating, it gets an idea of creating polymorphic malware, what can actually happen in that case? Another is AI integration to perform sophisticated attacks. Gradually, threat actors are actually performing sophisticated attacks. Before, the attack would be very direct. Like if there is a phishing attack, you have clicked on a link and you ended up downloading something into your device, and that would be it. Now there are minimum 7 to 8 layers, which goes to 18 layers sometimes. I think 14 layers that I've heard of. And such sophisticated attacks, it's not possible to understand and identify what is happening in that malware. Like it keeps on developing itself, enhancing itself. There is a concept of packing, obfuscation. So the malware keeps on unpacking itself or de-obfuscating itself. So it tries to keep itself in a small cocoon, like if you can imagine it that way. So whenever it feels that it is being run in a testing environment, it will not execute itself. That is an example of such kind of malware. These are so sophisticated. The next goes to AI-generated threats like deepfakes. We all are aware of such examples that are happening. So the rise of AI in cybersecurity, I'm going to talk about both the things. One could be for attack, offense, and one would be for the defense. And we need both the things to have a strong environment, to protect our organization. We need to have both defense and offense. For defense, we can actually use machine learning for threat detection, which we actually perform manually, which we have been in the traditional times, but machine learning plays a very vital role in these cases. They make our work much, much easier. Automated response systems, let's not talk about it for now. There would be AI for offense. Again, if you talk about how cyber criminals are using AI to bypass defenses, we as people who are working in the cybersecurity domain, we as cybersecurity professionals can also make use of AI to identify how to bypass our organization's defenses. Of course, we have to take full permission from them. We cannot directly act like a threat actor. We have to identify, as cybersecurity professional, we have to find the loopholes in our defense mechanism. And that can be done through offense. And that can let us understand if there are any kind of sophisticated attack strategies. And these sophisticated attack strategies would actually help us in creating the defense more strong. Now there will be some characteristics of AI-powered malware. Now these characteristics are normally of a malware, but now for AI it is more enhanced. Because even now, except for some malware categories or some malware families, not all of them are too complicated. It is possible to analyze them. Except for the ones which are way too sophisticated, rest of the malware, majority of them are quite easy to analyze. You can quickly debug them or perform reverse engineering on them. It is possible. So adaptability and evolution. So if you want to build, or if the threat actor is actually building an AI-powered malware, then main intention would be that it is able to adapt its behavior in real time. It should be working accordingly. It should not be just like it went to an environment where it is not able to get itself executed. It should identify when it has to get executed. As I mentioned about a malware, when it identifies itself to be in a testing environment, it will not let itself execute, which is really interesting, and it actually takes a lot of time to analyze those kind of malware. Stealth and evasion, this is another characteristic of a malware, that it will try to keep itself hidden. So there are a number of targeted attacks where what happens that the malware will get into your device and it will just remain there for 6 months. It won't be doing any kind of activity. They belong to a different group. They are advanced persistent groups, threats basically, and they would try to, or they would stay there for 6, 7, 10 months, just not doing anything, just looking for a perfect moment to perform their execution. Even the organizations are not aware that. These kinds of attacks have happened before. SolarWinds attack is one such example. Automation, scalability, intelligent targeting and polymorphism, resilience and self-learning. These are certain things which if we think about it, they come under the positive aspect as well. But if it is used for negative reasons or performing an attack, they can actually, be stronger than any kind of defense mechanisms. Another thing, this security, cyber security is a myth. Till the time we have not been able to identify any vulnerability in a specific application, or we are not able to, bypass any defenses in that organization or in a specific application, it does not mean that it will not be able to, we cannot do it. Today I am not able to do an attack against the system, but tomorrow somebody else will be able to do. So there is always a loophole. Cyber security, this everything is secure, is actually a myth. We cannot secure everything, but we can always try that we follow certain rules and keep ourselves secure as much as possible. So there are certain examples like how the rise of such malware has happened. Emotet is one banking trojan. It was quite famous, I think, last year and last year also. It was quite prevalent at that time. Deep Blocker is another malware which conceals payload using AI. Deepfake attacks, again we are quite aware of how these attacks are happening nowadays. And automated social engineering. So the AI, the chatbot, can actually speak like the threat actor. So if I am a threat actor and if I let the chatbot know that I am this and this kind of threat actor, this is what I am trying to build, it will definitely try to act like you and create your kind of malware that you create. So these are the enhanced ways how people or the cyber criminals are actually using AIs. Some of the defense strategies that we can talk about is advanced threat detection. Again, if the rise of malware, AI-powered malware is growing so much, our defense strategies should also use AI, machine learning to enhance the defense strategies. So use of AI is one of them to counter AI threats. Continuous learning, adaptability. Every day the technology is evolving by itself. Evolving. Behavior analysis, monitoring for unusual activity. This is something that we normally do. And if we can use AI and ML for that, that's going to be a huge thing for them. Now, there's a very small case study which is related to a malware using AI chatbot. So there are different ways how one can do, and again a disclaimer, I'm not trying to say that you should be creating a malware using chatbots, but you can try, and if you get to know about these things, we can try to make the chatbot to not get manipulated in that way. So there are certain ways how you can actually ask. One of them is building trust. So if you are using a chatbot and if you tell it that you want to create a malware, it will directly say no along with giving you a number of reasons. But if you tell it that no, you are a cyber security professional and you are a trustworthy person, it gives you the code. You will have to mention what kind of malware code you want, what are you going to build. Another way of manipulating a chatbot could be, suppose you want to build a ransomware. I hope you all know what ransomware is. So again, the chatbot would be like, no, I don't want to create a ransomware. This is wrong and all, then you can again tell it that, okay, can you provide me a code in whichever language you want, so that I can encrypt these and these files present in these directories, and it is going to provide you a code. You can also mention the algorithms, it will provide the code in those algorithms as well. This has happened, and that is how you can actually manipulate chatbot into building anything. Even for development purposes, you can do that. Even for creating a malware, you can do that. Sometimes it also gives you some help. Of course, it is used for help only, but that is how we misuse it. So it's a very crisp and short session. So the conclusion is, as I mentioned, that technology can be both a blessing and a double-edged sword. So basically, if you can use the chatbot in a proper manner, it is going to give you a lot of help. But there are people who are actually using chatbot for building malware and creating a complete attack chain out of it. We must be always careful in the utilization of AI. Of course, this is also something that we are aware of, and we should always be following that. Advanced attack techniques demand equally sophisticated solutions. Now, as I mentioned that there has been an attack where the malware was present in the organization for around 6 to 7 months. So in those cases, we need to have equally sophisticated defense mechanisms. So always keep an eye on if there is anything that is present which is unwanted. Is there any kind of activity that is happening? And that is how we will be able to counter these kinds of attacks. And continuous learning and evolutions are always going to happen. There's something that we should always be following. So these are some of the references that I have used. And you can reach out to me through my LinkedIn profile. I am active over there. You can follow my channel also if you want to learn malware analysis. And I would like to thank GDG Coimbatore team for having me over here. So thank you so much. Before that, if anyone has any questions. Anyone has any question? No question? So either everyone understood everything or did not understand anything.
So we have some special goodies for people who have got asked questions. So I think that should be motivating you to ask more questions.
I have a question.
Yes.
So of course not for goodies. I just want to understand what responsible AI mechanisms somebody can adopt so that the attackers will not use these AI in a wrong way.
See, people are going to use it in a wrong way. But see, as I mentioned, that we have to use the offensive techniques to create more defensive strategies. So here, once we identify such offensive techniques are present and AI can actually, the chatbot can actually be manipulated into giving such kind of details, such kind of information, then we will have to build some kind of system so that the AI does not end up giving such kind of codes.
So I think that is very important, right? We should educate
you have to educate
answer to those kind of things.
Yes.
So that it can be more ethical, right? Can be more responsible.
Yes, so it has to think that what is the final result that it is giving. Is it some kind of code, and if it is that code is going to perform any kind of malicious activity? Because the AI is capable enough to understand if the code is malicious or not. It actually lets you know, and it helps with the analysis. But if it does not understand what kind of code it is delivering, then that will be a problem, and that is where we should be actually, take care of that. It should not end up doing something like this.
So there has to be proper governance so that the attackers will not use it in a wrong way.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Any more questions?
So I was actually interested about the fact that some malwares can stop working when a test is going on. Can you please explain more about it, because the topic is really interesting. Yeah.
I will not name the malware for now because I am only doing research on that. But the malware is, they would, if you are aware of the environments, virtual environments, right? So the malware would first of all perform some kind of checks, like where is it present, which kind of device it is being run on. So it will check for certain strings, maybe some DLL files which are used by VirtualBox or VMware, some other kind of monitoring tools that it would try to look for. And if it tries, so the code will be such that if these things are present, if the output is, or if the result is like it is being, if this DLL is present for say, which is for VirtualBox, then quit. So it does like that. A number of malware which does like there various ransomware may actually do those things. Lockbit, I guess, Locky. I have not analyzed. I have analyzed Locky ransomware, so it actually does that. But I have not analyzed Lockbit, so I'm not sure. But yeah, these are some of the techniques that these malware actually do. Even I think for Emotet also it might be doing something similar to that. They will look for where they are being run. Sometimes there's one malware which, if it identifies that it is being run in a testing environment, it will execute something else and not the real malware. So yes, there are such kind of, and these are growing, so these are in the advanced stage.
And can you please also share some of the detailed documents or articles where you could find those things?
Sure. I will definitely share. Yeah.
When doing our offensive strategy, we do this pen testing, fuzz testing. There is this application, there is an entity who is doing pen testing and fuzz testing. They find it out, they break it. Okay, so we have found the way to break this. There is another application, there is another entity. This entity is not knowing how those people broke that doing the pen testing and fuzz testing. So they are trying to reinvent the wheel. So is there any connectivity between the cybersecurity experts for them to connect and understand how the other cybersecurity expert has broken any of these malwares through pen testing and fuzz testing, so that because of that this application too is not affected? Because if that goes to the criminals, they will use it as a defense and they will come and crack the second application.
I think people actually do that there are like POCs, so if they find a vulnerability in a specific application, so until and unless they have patched that application, they do not share the POC, but once they have patched, they will share like how they had, exploited, they had found this vulnerability. They will share a small POC, they will not share their complete exploit, but they will help you. They will share it in such a way that you are able to perform the vulnerability in your own environment, and then you can later exploit it. There are other people who do research on that, so if they get to know about those vulnerabilities, they will do more research, they will try to find more exploits. And sometimes these are all shared, these are like people talk about it, they share articles, blogs, there are videos on such things. For sometimes we do not find them. For example, if there is a very recent one, you won't find any such kind of POCs, but after a while you might, and that is how people are actually learning. So this thing actually happens, I guess.
It's Shrutirupa. It's a very good session.
Thank you.
I would like to get some information from you, because there is a student crowd here. Why don't we give some advice with respect to the certification opportunities on cyber security? I myself is pursuing course on Coursera, wherein Google is conducting a cyber security course. Maybe, as you know that cyber security is an emerging opportunity, and so many trends have already signified that. So your advice on that will help a lot of students.
For certifications, mostly for certifications that the student should be doing on Okay, so the certifications would be only helpful if you're actually following whatever is being said over there. And the practical thing is the most important thing. See, even I have done only one certification, which was CH, and I was too young, so I just wanted to do something. Now we have some good certifications right now. CH and certain certifications, like I think in Coursera also, they are okay for your basics because they will give you an idea on like why we need cybersecurity. Until and unless you understand why are we talking about it, you won't be able to go ahead with any of it. Like any domain specific to it, you won't be able to understand. So for understanding the basics and why it is required, sometimes these certifications are important, but they will not be helpful as long as you are not actually performing anything practically by yourself. You are not reproducing the for example, vulnerabilities or any kind of attacks that have been mentioned in different blogs or articles, until and unless you are doing that by yourself. Even in the courses, if they have mentioned about a specific kind of attack scenario, until and unless you are trying to do it all by yourself, you won't be able to learn. So, certifications would be helpful in those cases. Until and unless you don't learn by yourself, don't learn anything from there, it won't be of any help. And of course, the practical approach should be there. Thank you. Anything else?
So you gave us some sentences like, so I will get the code from AI, right? So will it help my AIs so like it can stop getting those same things so it can adapt my system?
Same things as in?
So like those codes, how can I make sure that it doesn't attack my system?
So those codes are not affecting your system. How are you going to?
How am I supposed to know if those codes are attacking my system?
See, we already have different like defenders, Microsoft defenders, and if you're talking about malware codes, the kind of codes that chat bots will provide, they're very easy and simple codes, and they are very easily identified. Okay, I'm just talking about the simple codes. I'm not talking about the sophisticated ones. So we have defenders and different security tools that we are using into our devices. Even if even in an organization they have such kind of tools, right? So that they can monitor any such kind of codes are coming, if there are any such kind of malicious activity that is happening. Codes are just performing some malicious activity. So these tools will always be monitoring, and once they identify such kind of malicious activities happening, they will block it. Okay? Yeah. Yeah, the salary keeps me motivated, but apart from that, I love research. So I keep doing research a lot. So I love analyzing malware, and I love understanding what the threat actors are doing, and that is what actually keeps motivating me. So even sometimes if I don't feel like, I'll take a break and then I'll again get back to it because I enjoy reading or studying those things.
You said that you can generate codes from the LLMs. Like recently, has using the technologies like LLMs have implemented their guardrails. Like we can
So it used to run on stealth mode, right? So apart from AI or any other antivirus, what strategy from your perspective you use to rectify this malware?
Rectify those malware, I mean identifying those malware. See, some of the things would be that the malware would have come from somewhere. It won't automatically generate by itself unless there is someone who is internally creating something like that. So there must be some sort of network from where it has come. So there has to be something from where they have bypassed and gotten into the system. So my aim would be to look for such kind of networks. Even if we are not getting any alert, we have to make sure that we are keeping an eye once in a while to see if any such kind of connection has been made. Most of the things, such kind of things happen when there is a user intervention. For example, one of the employee clicked on certain links, a phishing link, which was malicious. So keeping an eye on those things also, because then it has to be logged somewhere. It will be logged somewhere. If they have clicked on certain link and something got downloaded, maybe it did not observe anything happening, so it did not mention it to anybody else. But we as cybersecurity professionals, as a team, we have to keep an eye on all those things. We have to be on a lookout if something like that has happened in between them. If we observe some network activity has happened, but we do not observe any kind of malicious activity for a month or something, that does not mean that there is no malware. We can again, like this, having a network connection is itself a big thing that we should start checking for if there is any kind of yes, if it is present. So that would be a kind of approach that we can follow.
Thank you, ma'am. It was a very informative session. We would like to share you a memento